Welcome back, everybody, to the return of the Harrison Brinker Show, or whatever you want to call it. That's right, we changed the name of the show. We've changed a lot of things about this show. I've moved back from Utah. I'll talk all about that. It's been a month and a half since I recorded last. But the biggest thing, other than the set, which, like I said, we'll get into all the new gear, all the new fun stuff, we changed the name of the show. It's no longer the Harrison Brinker Show. It is now Hotel Charlie. So thank you to everyone who's stuck around up until this point, been there for the first 21 episodes of the Harrison Brinker Show. You don't need to go anywhere. It's the exact same show. It just has a new name. It's just called Hotel Charlie now, so I think that'll be fun. I hope you're all excited for that. Let's turn this music up. What can I say first? We got a new microphone stand. We're in a new place. We're back in Pennsylvania. Still getting used to how long my arms are. We're back in Pennsylvania. We left Utah, which means I got rid of the green screen. I was just filming that in my bedroom with a green screen behind me. This is not a green screen. This stuff's all real. You hear that? I'm tapping on the TV. The brick behind me is still fake, but it's not computer-generated fake. It's just fake. Yeah, so take a look around, whatever you want. But this is the new stuff. We have a new mixer. I can do all these fun effects now. Hello. We still have the cup of water. I don't have any Arizona tea. We have the soundboard. The soundboard is back.
Keep yapping, man.
That's Joe Biden. We'll get into the election. A lot has changed since I last talked to you all. I'm famous now. We'll get into that later. Like I said, I hope you all have had a nice last month and a half. I did, and like I said, we'll get into it. I guess the biggest thing was that I moved back from Utah. What can I talk about? Oh, yeah, I moved. I moved across the country again. I originally am from Pennsylvania. I don't know how many people know that. I'm guessing most of the people that watch this already know who I am. I grew up in Pennsylvania. After college, moved out to Utah with some friends, and my lease was up after a year, and I had to decide whether or not to stay, and I went, I'm out of here. Let's get out of here. I hate the heat. It's going to snow tonight in Pennsylvania. I was watching the Steelers-Browns game. It was pouring snow, and I was jealous. So I'm glad that I'm back in a cold climate. I don't know why I like it. I don't know if that's just because that's where I grew up, but I hate the heat, and why would I move to Utah when it's year-round heat? That sucks. And you can say it's a dry heat. Yeah, it is. It's better than Pennsylvania heat, but it's all year, and that sucks. So I'm done with that. Back to Pennsylvania. I had to get a new license so that I could vote. I'm still registered. I still was registered to vote in Pennsylvania, but I didn't want to give them a Utah license and just go, I swear to God, it's me. So I had to vote. I got a new license. I got a new car, or I got a new license plate for my car. Sorry. I kept the car I had. But funny story about that real quick. I got a new license plate, and when I was driving home, I just had it sitting in the front seat. I didn't change it in the DMV parking lot, but I went home because that's where I keep my screwdrivers. And when I was in the car, I had noticed the number on the license plate was 69. I was like, that's pretty funny. I mean, 69, that's hilarious. It wasn't until later it was brought to my attention what the rest of my license plate said, and it has the letters MRS in my license plate, which means, yes, everybody, my license plate says Mrs. 69. Oh, is that funny? Oh, is that funny to you? Mrs. 69? That's not cool. I mean, it's funny, but I'm the joke. I mean, it's terrifying. I can no longer yell at people on the road. I can no longer give people the middle finger or point a gun at them because I'm Mrs. 69 now. People are going to be passing by me going, oh, I bet this kid in here is a MILF, or this lady or whatever, not a kid. I bet this lady driving's a MILF. And then they're going to drive past me. I'm going to have to go, no, that's my mother. My mother. Oh, no, I'm Harrison. My father was Mrs. 69. So that's the first thing about me is my license plate is disgusting. And it's also weird because it's like I can't imagine if I went and got that as like a vanity plate and requested, hey, can mine say Mrs. 69? I'm sure the person behind the desk would go, no, that's inappropriate. But we'll dish it out to you for free. And there's however many other ones just out there in the country. Apparently they don't monitor that. I would have rather had it say KKK 666. But no, Mrs. 69. That's cool. Give it to the guy. Yeah, whatever. So that's that. Yeah, we have my laptop set up, my computer. So it's going to take me a minute to get used to all the monitors we have here. I have my camera. I bought a new camera. I used to be filming this on my phone. I got a new phone. That doesn't matter. But I got an actual camera plugged right in so that the camera is not glitching. It used to always glitch if I had a guest on or when Colin would be on. It would always glitch. The computer couldn't handle it. So I bought a camera that goes straight into my computer. It's not using Bluetooth or anything, and I think that's going to be a lot better. Point is, I have monitors set up. It's plugged in. I'm just looking at OBS on my desk here, and with a TV mimicking that behind you near the camera. Both are set up so that I can see what I look like. The problem is I'm so self-obsessed that for the entirety of the show, when I should be looking here, I'm just going to be looking like that. So it's going to take me a minute to get used to that. So I apologize for that. But that's okay. How are you guys doing? Do you want to comment down below what I've missed while I was away? I think I've kept somewhat up to date. I know the whole Zach Bryan, Brianna Chicken Fry thing. Dave Portnoy has left the BFFs podcast for an unrelated reason. He's just too old. The guy from One Direction died. I think it was Zayn, but I don't remember 100%. Maybe Liam. It was Liam, because it was Liam who died, right? I hope so. I just snapped my fingers and sounded really sure of myself. That guy died, and all of a sudden, what happens every time someone dies, everyone comes out of the woodwork and goes, you know what? I never told this to anyone, but I was his biggest fan. Yeah, I mean, it's a shame he died, but you haven't listened to One Direction in 6 years, so what are you talking about? Time to drink of water. I now have sounds to play. I mean, I've had the iPad's been on here before, the soundboard. I just never used it because I don't think about things in the moment. But if I'm going to be drinking water, I guess I'll play some sounds here to keep you guys occupied while I take a sip of water. Creepy. But yeah, we got a new microphone stand. Like I said, we got a new mixer. We got some lights set up. We got a fun set around here. Some posters for you to look around at. This is a new microphone. I have two of the same microphone now. The old one from the Harrison Brinker Show, Season 1, is sitting right here. For old time's sake. It's kind of hard. I have it very dark in this room with all this lighting, but I like the look of that. Anyway, here's the old one. I'll be giving that away at the end of the show. Not really. That's for if I have a guest on or something. We can have people in this nice podcast studio, this official soundproof podcast studio. We'll see if that ever happens. You may have noticed, for those of you who are fans of the show, thank you for everyone just joining us, by the way. But if you're a fan and you've watched the show before, usually I would start the episode with like me in front of a green screen curtain, giving like a fake open Tonight Show monologue. I didn't do that this time. I think anytime I can come up with a joke about something topical, I should just say it in the show. I don't have to sit there and prepare for it. And there's no need to sit down and just say like, hey, here's what's happening. Here's what's happening. It's like, just watch the show. It's an hour. You can watch it for an hour, right? That's not too much to ask, is it? Maybe it is, but if not, this isn't your show and you can scrimp. But what's in the news? I like to talk about things that bother me, things that tickle my fancy, and the first thing that I saw recently was Dave Coulier having cancer. Now, I don't think that's funny, although I've made jokes about that idea before, long ago, a year ago, on a podcast with my old roommates from Utah. We said, wouldn't it be funny if someone from Full House got cancer, and then Uncle Joey went, hey, you got to cut it out. Well, unfortunately, that came true, and now Uncle Joey has cancer. But did you see this? Uncle Jesse, John Stamos, came to the rescue, and in solidarity with his old friend who now has lymphoma. Let's see this. Can I do this? He put on a bald cap and said, "You know what? I'm going to shave your head, buddy." So there's a lot of pictures around where he's shaving his head, he's kissing his head. I just want to focus on this one because I thought it was the funniest. Where's my mouse? Where's my mouse? Oh, here it is. It is on the screen. So obviously Dave Coulier's head's shaved, but John Stamos's isn't. He's wearing a bald cap, which is understandable. I commend his effort to even bother. I mean, Bob Saget's nowhere to be seen. I commend his effort of just being nice. The funny thing to me about this is like how well made up it is. You know, I get you're not really going to shave your head. You have a thick head of Greek hair. You don't want to part with it. I get it. I get it. I'm not crazy. But what's funny to me is that you went like way overboard on the makeup. And even, let's see this. Can I pull this up? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Still getting used to how this all works. Even this, he said this on Instagram. Nothing like throwing on a bald cap and flexing some Photoshop skills. So not only did he put on the bald cap, hey, that's fine, but he went above and beyond and was like, look, I got to really make this thing look good. Because if I'm going to be bald, I'll tell you what, I'm fine being bald, but I'm not okay being ugly. Anyway, Dave, I hope you're okay. You know what I mean? I just thought that was funny. And looking up pictures of this, I guess there's articles coming out of people saying the same thing. But I didn't read those, so hopefully you don't think that this is hacky for me to talk about. And, sorry. I'm still figuring out how the hell this worked. And if you hadn't heard that was a thing, well, there you go. Thank you for coming to the show. But yes, that's funny to me that day. John Stamos doesn't want to look ugly. He's like, I'll be bald, but I'm going to be sexy about it. Okay. What else? Well, since there's a lot of stuff on my plate here, I'm just trying to think of what order to go in because I'm so excited to talk to you guys again. Some of you, since we've last recorded, I think the amount of subscribers we had when we last recorded, and by we, I mean me, last recorded, I think it was under 50. But I uploaded a video about Ari Shaffir taking a shit at Skankfest that kind of blew up. You know, as fun or as scary as that may be, it blew up regardless. I wasn't actually expecting it to do that well. I kind of figured it'd do better than normal clips, but it's up to like 21,000 views. And some of you might be watching this going, 21,000, that's nothing. Well, look at my other clips. They got like 12. So I was expecting that to be like, oh, maybe that'll get 100, maybe 200. It's got Ari Shaffir in the video, and it's Kill Tony. I mean, people like that show. 21,000? Ooh, doggy. That's terrifying. Now I'm like, oh, great. I'm under a lot of pressure. But I know we've gotten a lot of subscribers from that video, so we'll see if they stick around after this. But I hope everyone joining us from that video is entertained and understands what I'm trying to do. And look, you're getting in at the ground floor. You might be saying, oh, this guy sucks. Well, you shouldn't be saying that. You might be saying this guy's great. But if I need to plead with you at all, which I don't really want to do, it's just, hey, we're just getting started. We're just having fun. Just trying out a new set. Just having fun, doing a podcast. And if you don't think I'm taking this seriously, I just spent all my money on all this stuff. So I don't know if that makes me any funnier or the show more entertaining, but you can't say I'm not taking it seriously. How about that? So there's that. Anyway, the Ari Shaffir video comes out. I think the video I had posted was up to 5,000 views. Maybe a little more, actually. It was doing very well. But it kind of plateaued before the Kill Tony episode officially came out. And I was expecting, okay, once the Kill Tony episode comes out, no one will watch it anymore because they'll see what happened on the show. Well, I wasn't expecting the segment to be completely cut. On the actual episode of Kill Tony, the one I was talking about a couple weeks ago, or a couple episodes ago, a month ago, they just cut the show from when Ari Shaffir starts getting naked. So all of a sudden, that show's pre-recorded, obviously, but live streamed on YouTube, so you can't fast forward. I was watching it live as it came out, and the moment that they cut the screen, my video started boosting up again. It got 1,000 views in an hour, and now it's up to 21,000. Terrifying. I guess that's my whole story about that. But I did want to show you this because I thought this was funny when the video came out, and I can't remember how much I talked about it in the actual episode. I think I said I was in the crowd, obviously. I don't know how much I said about it. But, so it cuts away from Ari Shaffir getting nude and just cuts to him on a video while the audience plays in the background. Well, while he's doing that, I'm in the background of the video. Let me find it. Where is it? I'm in the background of this video. This is Kill Tony. That's me right there. Woo! Look at that. Can you believe it? I know it's kind of dark in here, but you're more than welcome to go over to YouTube and see it yourself. What time code are we at? 1:49:52. If you didn't believe that I was there, that's me right there in the Hawaiian shirt and the red hat with the glasses. Yep, that's me. Anyway, so I was on Kill Tony, which is fun because that's the world's #1 live podcast. That's my Tony Hinchcliffe impression. We don't have to watch this anymore. I just thought that was funny. Yeah, I mean, I'm famous. How many views does this video have? I can't tell. By the way, if anyone's wondering how to get the dislikes to pop, I know you can't see this. The camera's a little far away. And I have it focused on me because if I do the autofocus on the camera, the lighting gets screwed up. Trust me. This is just a fun fact. If anyone wants your dislike button back, it's a Google plugin. Just go into Google Chrome, buy the YouTube, or it's free, the YouTube dislike button, and it's back. And you get to see how many people are making fun of your friends. It's got 2 million views. 2 million people have seen my face. Wow. Thank you, Tony. Where's the applause here? Thank you, Tony Hinchcliffe. Now, speaking of being on Kill Tony, you may, if anyone's interested in my life, where the hell is my mouse? This setup is so difficult to get used to. I used to end my old podcast with my friends. It was called This'll Only Take a Minute. I used to end that podcast every episode with a minute of stand-up. And while I was driving back across the country with Colin, we made it a big, long road trip. So we stopped in a bunch of cities, and I had told him beforehand, hey, if we are in a city and they're doing an open mic somewhere that night, I'll go. And we ended up stopping in St. Louis. And I did stand-up. It was scary because we just looked it up last minute. We just looked up open mics, and they had a list of these ones and when they were, what part of the week. And there was one on Monday. We were there Monday, so we click on it. We put it in the Uber without even thinking about it, not knowing that St. Louis is like the most dangerous city in America, I guess. So we're just driving from our hotel, a nice classy casino, and we start driving like into the city where there's no street lights and all the buildings are decrepit. So I was a little nervous, and I texted Colin while we're in the Uber, like, I think this is a bad area. And he misread it and thought I said, I think this is a bad idea. So he goes, no, calm down, man. You're going to be fine. I'm like, I'm not talking about the stand-up. I'm talking about, I think we're going to die. And he's like, oh, we're fine. And then the Uber driver drops us off, the guy that goes there every day. You know what I'm talking about? And he goes, be careful, gentlemen. This place is dangerous. I'm like, oh, great. I brought us into the middle of hellfire, in the middle of a gang war, just so that I could do a couple of laughs at a comedy show. Well, it was worth it, my friends, because I'll show you how it went. We have to open up QuickTime here, and then we'll pull it over the TV for you to watch. So this is me. This is my stand-up comedy debut. Are you excited to be along for this ride? Let's see it. What? Actually, I'll say this first. We get in there, and the only people in there were a table of old people. It was like 4 60-year-olds on a double date, and then just the comedians. And I've gone to open mics before where I just kind of am sussing it out, checking out the water, dipping my toe in, and I've noticed a couple times on like local open mics, it's just comedians there, which sounds fun if you've been doing it for a year and a half and you're friends with all those guys. But those comedians are just waiting for their turn to go. So it's like, I've been terrified to do stand-up because I'm like, I'm just going to be in front of no people that want to see comedy and just people that want to go, like, take their turn. You know what I mean? I thought it'd be scary, and that's what it was. But there was a table of old people. And so anyway, not to preface this with like, oh, this is why no one laughed. I'm more than fine that nobody laughed at this. I'll tell you this now. Nobody laughed. But I think that's why. So let's watch it. I was watching one of those gender reassignment surgeries today. Online. It's always so tough. I can never make it to the end. I always come way too fast. What do you think? I've been drinking tonight. I'm trying not to overdo it. I got to drive back home. I try not to drink and drive, but with these new bottle opener keychains, it's so easy. Topical. I'm more of a binge drinker. I'm not really an alcoholic. I guess the difference is like
An alcoholic would drink every day. I don't drink every day. I just drink some parts of the week, but I make up for my days off. I guess
Rushed it.
I don't want to kill myself or anything. Not because I don't want to die. I don't really care. But I feel like if I wrote a suicide note and someone found it before I was dead, that would just be so embarrassing.
That's true.
Sorry,
That would be
you weren't
terrifying.
supposed to see that until afterward. I'm trying to work on myself though. I'm on a diet now. Cutting out the sugar, cutting down on the booze. So throughout the week, I'll give up beer and everything. But then on the weekends, I'll have sex with my neighbor while my wife's at work on my cheat day. I would never cheat on my wife. I don't actually even have a wife. I'm out of a relationship now. It's kind of hard. It took me a while to start getting back in the dating game. It was easier for my ex-girlfriend. She was having sex with guys before we even broke up.
Oh,
It was a
that's
lot
not true.
easier to hook up with people in college. I was nervous when I first got to college because you hear like everyone's a feminist in college, and I was nervous like, oh, what am I getting myself
Get a load of
into?
this
I
one.
gotta Be nice to these women, meet their parents, buy them flowers. But feminists in college are way different. Like you spit on them and stab them and kill their parents, and they're just like, yeah, feminism.
I'll try to explain this one real fast. Yeah, that joke, I mean, it's not far off from how I performed it. I guess it's not that great of a joke. But it was basically just making fun of, like, hey, it's funny that all the girls in college are feminism because then when you have sex with them, they're all like, hey, beat the shit out of me. And I'm like, oh, so much for being a feminist. I don't want to hurt women, but now all of a sudden you're pro-feminism and you're in your most vulnerable moment. You're like, hey, spit in my mouth. Anyway, I think that's funny. But I made eye contact with the old lady across from me, and I'm just thinking, like, this isn't me. This isn't me. So I buckled and I rushed through that bit.
Right.
Laughing at your own jokes.
The other day, it said the most trusted profession is nurses. I thought, well, what about the guy that wrote that list? I feel like I trust him a little more than nurses. I was at the dentist the other day. I feel like if there's one list of the hottest profession, it would be dental hygienists. I was at the dentist the other day. I was so struck by my dental hygienist, I couldn't even pay attention. By the time the appointment was over, I really screwed it up. She was giving me that goodie bag of like, here's your toothpaste, here's your floss. Do you want anything else? I just said, yeah, I'll take some Oral B.
All right, I got some laughs.
Speaking of oral, I was going down with this girl the other day. I didn't realize she was a lesbian. It was like halfway through, and I looked up. I was like, this tastes just like pussy.
True story.
Anyway, so I just decided to finger her. It tasted a lot better. And she said I was good at it, which I was happy. I can credit that to, as a kid, I was really poor. So anytime I wanted ice in a drink, the fridge didn't work. So I always have to like finger pop it to try to get some ice down.
That's true.
I was
That's
so
just
poor
true.
As a kid, I could only afford to choose single bubble. Hey,
That one I made up.
I was like 12 years old. We got our first color TV. It was cool. It was like a regular TV, except it only played reruns of The Cosby Show and Family Matters. I didn't even know what Discovery Channel was till college. By then I realized my sex life was a lot like a Discovery Channel show. I'm naked and she's afraid. I don't blame her though for being nervous. I'm really awkward when I have sex with women. I never know what to say. I'm usually completely silent, so I'll just run through the same couple words in my head. It's either perfect, amazing, and ooh, boobies.
That's true.
And if she decides that's too much, then she can leave and I'll just jerk off at home alone. It's my favorite Macaulay Culkin movie.
I have a Macaulay Culkin story coming up.
My last place, I could always hear my roommates having sex.
Oh, the phone heckle.
I could always hear my roommates having sex, and that was bad because I still lived at home. And I'm mad at my parents because they circumcised me without my permission. Which I guess is alright because chicks take scars, but I feel like if I have a son, I'm not going to circumcise him, Why would I? The guy that invented that just did it because he thought that being circumcised would make you masturbate less. I feel like the only reason uncircumcised guys jerk off more than circumcised guys is just because no one wants to have sex with uncircumcised guys. And what would be the point of that anyway? Like, oh, just so it looks like mine? I mean, okay, so I'm going to have my son and the lady's going to come up to him and go, oh, he has his mother's eyes and his father's foreskin. That's beautiful. That's all I got. Thanks, everybody.
Round of applause. Round of applause.
Harrison, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. That sound effect, that applause sound was actually added in post. There wasn't that many people laughing. I do want to show you. What the hell? I do want to show you this real quick. Did you guys notice the one-way? Okay, so real quick story, kind of funny, maybe not, maybe it'll get me in trouble, but Colin and I were driving to St. Louis. We knew the stand-up open mic was that night, so we were trying to come up with jokes. or trying to organize the jokes that I had written. And one of the jokes I had written was about a trans man. And the joke is basically, oh, I'm nervous that I'm embarrassed that I can't grow a beard. So I went to my doctor and he told me there's really nothing you can do. It just comes down to genetics. Then I went out into the waiting room and saw a trans man with a full beard. So I ran back in. I said, Doc, what the hell are you giving him? That's the joke. And then Colin and I were like, let's not do that. We have too much sex stuff. I already talked about gender reassignment surgeries. Thank God I didn't do that one, because who would have thought that the only waiter at this restaurant, maybe I'm assuming, but I think that's a trans man, or something. My point is, that was close. We're in an election year. The last thing I need is to piss any people off. To be honest, I think he would have gotten it and probably been like, that's how it works. I do have a beard. And maybe he would have given me his serum, possibly. Anyway, that was all. But that was fun. I did stand up for the first time. And who knows, maybe I'll be rich and famous, or maybe I'll be famous, or maybe I'll be infamous. And one day you can say, hey, I was there when I saw his first set. So that's fun. So that's what I did. So I wasn't officially on Kill Tony. I was technically on Kill Tony, and a week later I did stand up. But if someone says, how was your November? I'm going to say, oh, it was great. I did stand up for the first time, and I was on Kill Tony. I did stand up for the first time, and I was on Kill Tony. I did stand up for the first time, and I was on Kill Tony. I guess I could say it without having to rush. And people not being none the wiser would think, oh, this guy's been on Kill Tony doing stand up. It's like, no. I was on Kill Tony, and I did stand up separately. I did stand up in St. Louis. But that was fun. And it's true what they say, though. Like, just getting up there and being nervous, as you can see, and it was obviously terrifying because nobody's laughing. But I'm holding that note card the entire time. I've said these jokes. They've been in my phone for a year. I've said them on the old podcast, like, this will only take a minute with my roommates. I've said them on that podcast. They're burned in my head. But for some reason, when I actually had to go up and perform it, I'm like, well, I forget everything I've ever done. So anyway, that was fun. But maybe I'll do it again. I don't know. I mean, it was definitely fun. So that was cool. Now, what else can I say here? Like I said, I have plenty. I'm trying to think of how to organize it because I don't want to just throw too much stuff at you, but I guess I can just complain. But I moved from Utah. One of the things I did before I left was I tried the restaurant Culver's. Have you guys ever had this? Have you ever heard of this? It's just a burger joint, but it's freaking very good. The burgers are very good. I don't know if it's true to say, but they tasted like they were higher quality. Like maybe the burger looking not like it just came out of a mold tricks me into going, oh, wow, these are handmade burgers. Now, I don't know if they are or not. Maybe they're molded to look shitty, but they tricked me, and I was impressed. And when the guy gave me my order, he walked up to me and was like, hey, I like your jeans. I was like, well, thank you very much. So that he already got me with that one. I wish I could have gone back. And the problem, though, with it, as good as it was, everyone go check out Culver's. I don't think it's just a West Coast thing. I'm pretty sure there's some in Ohio. I don't think there's any in Pennsylvania, but I have no evidence to back that up. I just kind of assume that there's not, because why would there be? It's good. But it's like that conundrum you would have when, you go all through high school and never get a girlfriend, and then all of a sudden you're talking to a girl, you're finally settling, like, okay, maybe my standards were too high, I'll date this girl, and you start talking to her, and then that's when all the girls start knocking at your door going, hey, Harrison, what are you up to? Hey, Harrison, you want to be my boyfriend? It's like, oh, you waited 18 years, and now that I'm in a relationship, you're going, would you like to hook up? It's like, thanks. So that's how I felt about Culver's, is I had this beautiful woman living 2 doors down from me, and I didn't even meet her until a week before I had to leave Utah. So that was sad. But I liked it. Speaking of girls and going on dates, I went on a date with a girl in Utah weeks before I left. I worked, if you didn't know this, I worked 2 jobs. I worked every single day for almost an entire year. Up until like the month before I moved out of Utah, I finally said, okay, enough is enough. I'm going to have the last month to just enjoy myself. So to do that, I had to get a girlfriend. So I fell in love with this woman, and we went on some hikes. And this is the double standard between men and women. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but men and women are very different. And for one of our first dates that we went on, it was her bright idea to take me into a deep, deep, dark, scary cave. Now, I don't know if I gave her the wrong impression, like, hey, I've seen Batman. And then she went, oh, Batman lives in a cave. This guy must like caves. I'll take him to a cave. I don't know if that's where it came from. That couldn't be farther from the truth. I like watching Batman because there's nothing scarier than me being actually Batman, and it's only okay if I'm watching it through a screen, the safety of my couch. But we go into a cave. Here it is. Look how dark this is. It's hard to even see on the TV. This is the middle of freaking the desert in Utah. We're in a dark, dark hole about 500 feet underground. There's no cell service. There's no light. There's no safety. And I don't know about you guys, but every time I'm on TikTok, at least once a week, I see a video of that guy who went spelunking, cave diving, and he took the wrong turn, and he went upside down, and he died. So that's all I've got playing in my head. I'm like, this girl's going to kill me. We were fine. We actually went deep enough that it opened up again, and there's just this big area where I guess people from in high school and college would party because there was all these six-pack rings on the ground and old beer tabs and swastikas drawn on the walls. So this is a party spot, which I couldn't think of anything more terrifying than, like, it sounds cool on paper to say, oh, me and my friends in high school, we'd go down into a cave and get lit. We'd get zoinked. Yeah, that sounds fun until you're drunk and high on acid and have to get out of this cave. It was terrifying. It took about an hour and a half to even get down there, and then it was freezing. Anyway, but we're in this cave, and we can hear people coming down. I mean, it's completely silent down there, so we can hear people coming up, and we were off into a nook and a cranny in the cave exploring, and I heard people coming down, so I took the flashlight and just shined it on the roof of, like, where they could see, just to say, like, hey, by the way, there's people over here, just to give them, like, a kind of a signal, like, hey, there's people, but I'm not going to yell or anything. I don't want to freak you out, but just so you know, there's people. And then the people were coming down, and you could tell it was like a group of 10 people, men and women, ready to party. And the guy just yelled from the other side of the cave going, hey, who is it? I'm like, who is it? I don't know, Harrison? What am I supposed to say? Us? It's us? It's me, dude. I don't know. It's just other people. So whatever. So we quickly got the hell out of there because we don't know if this was going to be like a Satan worship sacrifice thing or what. You're in a deep, dark cave with a bunch of drugs. It's close to Halloween. So we got out of there. We were safe. It was fine. But I guess my point is that's the double standard between men and women because it was the girl's idea, so it's okay to take a guy into a deep, dark cave. But if it was my idea on like a first date of an internet match, I'm like, oh, you seem cool. Do you want to go into a deep, deep, deep cave where there's no cell service and nobody can hear you and there's no light? Not cool. But a girl does it. You just have to go, oh, well, a girl couldn't do it. Girl couldn't kill me. Yes, she could. A gun, the great equalizer. Ever heard of it? So that was that. And that's the difference between men and women. Great. Anyway, so I came back home finally. I moved back. I don't want to give away the whole story of the road trip other than like the stand-up and maybe some other funny things that I'm reminded of along the way. Because Colin will not be joining us this episode. To go back to the changes between the show, here, I'll take a drink real quick. Usually every episode of the Harrison Brinker Show would end with an interview with one of my friends, and after about 4 episodes, it ended up just being Colin every episode. But he and I decided that we're going to keep doing interviews, but we're going to do them we're going to not do them weekly. We're going to do them just on our own schedule when we actually want to. That way we don't feel beholden to any sort of schedule and feel under pressure to talk about anything in particular. We're just going to kind of BS. So those will go on to Patreon, and the Patreon is in the description below. Please go over there and check it out, but I will warn you that there's not an interview with Colin there yet. So you're not allowed to come back and go, this guy lied. There's no video of me and Colin or him and Colin. It's like, yeah, I told you that already. As of right now, only go over there if you just want to support the channel. But rest assured, eventually there will be stuff on there. And it's only $1. So if you're cheap, it's only $1. And if you forget about it, it's only $1. Anyway, so I came back home. So I'm skipping the road trip because I like to do that with Colin. But I came back home. One of the first things I did was voted in the presidential election, which I thought was going to be a good idea because everyone had told me, like, hey, if you don't vote, democracy's over. This is the end of the world. You know, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, J.D. Vance are all sitting on Rogan back to back to back saying, if you don't vote this election, you know, it's the end of civilization. You know, Kamala will get the nuclear bomb and who knows what she's going to do. Who knows? So anyway, I went in to vote and nobody had told me that Joe Biden dropped out of the race.
Keep yapping, man.
Anyway, that was that joke. I will say this about the election. I did think it was funny. It was very, time's a flat circle or whatever they say. I don't know how old you guys are, but I remember when Trump was first elected in 2016, I had high school the next day. It was a Tuesday night. That's when we vote. And I went to bed before they called the election. So when I woke up the next morning, I just went onto Twitter just to see, like, I figured it was going to be on the homepage, like, Hillary Clinton wins, Donald Trump wins, or whatever. But there wasn't that. The only thing I had seen was just every girl I went to high school with posting, well, I guess that's it. I guess I'm going to kill myself. So that was funny. And guess what? It happened again. So even though this year I was awake for the election because I don't have a job right now, I had nothing better to do than sit up and watch the election coverage. I knew Trump had won, and then the next morning, what do you know, like a, what's it called? Right on schedule or something like that. All the girls I went to high school with and college with are all like, well, I guess society's over. And it's just like, yeah. I guess so. Anyway, better luck next time. And you only got 4 years of it, and then your guy's going to win. So it's going to be fine. Anyway, Joe Rogan. I'm just trying to think of things I have on the soundboard, and I brought him up a second ago. So that was that. So I voted. Donald Trump won. And now, as of right now, it's November 22nd, and Russia just announced they're going to kill anybody who helped Ukraine in the war, which is us. So I don't even know if you guys have to worry about Trump being president, because I'm pretty sure in the next couple months we will be dead. Yeah, it sounds like we're on the verge of World War III, and I guess maybe Democrats are trying to see, like, oh, let's see if Trump really knows how to get out of this. It's like, well, Trump was claiming that he could get us out of a war when we weren't really involved, and then after he got elected, you guys are like, all right, let's try to kill Russia. And then Trump's going to get us killed in nuclear war, and then all the girls from high school are going to be sitting back like, I told you he wasn't going to get us out of it. It's like, well, yeah, it was nuclear war. It's kind of tough to get around. Anyway. That is not me defending Trump. It's me making fun of the girls I went to high school with, by the way. Before you get your panties in a twist, unless you're the girls from high school, in which case, sorry, that's about you. I ordered a lot of stuff in the mail, if you can imagine, because I have all this new stuff. I ordered it all on Amazon because I have a Discover card, and the cashback prize this month is orders from Amazon, so I ordered it all online. And I love nothing more than getting the mail. I don't know what it is. I actually know exactly what it is. It's because as a kid and now I am obsessed with Blue's Clues. And one of the staples on that show is mail time, mail time, mail time, mail time. Right? Here's the mail. It never fails. It makes us want to wag our tail. And when it comes, I want to whale mail. So I love the mail because of that. Because when I got the mail as a kid, I got to pretend for only a second that I was Steve. I don't like Joe. I'm pro Steve, by the way. And I don't like this new guy at all. At all. Believe me. I've watched him. But I like getting the mail. But I was thinking about this. This was a funny concept to me the other day because I don't know if it's just because I'm unemployed with nothing to do. I'm just bored out of my mind. But I was waiting for a package the other day, and I can see on the app like where the Amazon driver is, like up to a freaking per foot, by the freaking map on the GPS. It tells you where he is. So I'm just waiting out, looking out my door, my front door, my house, just waiting for the Amazon guy. And then he pulls up. And then I realize, like, I look like a psychopath, so then I have to, like, hide behind the door. That's pretty much the whole joke, if you can even call it a joke. It's just a funny concept to me of this guy knowing there's going to be he's not afraid of people getting their packages, and I'm not afraid of getting mail from the mailman. I love it, but it's just funny to be staring. As soon as he gets out of the car, I'm like, oh, I can't let him know I'm here. So there's that. What else? What else? What else? No, not what else. Like I said, I have plenty more. The only reason I'm asking what else is because I have so much. I'm trying to think of what's best for you. Like I said earlier, I did get a new phone. I used to record this show on my phone. I got rid of it. But then I was updating all my computers, and it said the only way to sync up your phone with this is you have to update it, but I don't have any storage on my old phone, so I went and got a new one. I got the new 16 Pro, but I'll show you this real quick. I had a video screen recorded from my old phone. And this, you guys ever play the game Balls? It's just, I don't know. There's these squares, and you have to shoot balls at them. You get a certain amount of balls. You have to shoot them, and every time a ball touches a brick, it loses a point. The brick loses a point, and you can't see it on this, but the bricks have, like, numbers on them. Right? Can you see this? Whoa. Like 180 or whatever. So every time a ball hits it, it'll lose a point. Anyway, that's not the point. My point is, look at the frame rate of this game. This is me playing it on my old phone. There's no glitches here. This is exactly how I had to play this game, and I'm up to 130, level 130. So I was playing it like this for like an hour straight. This is like 4 a.m, by the way. Can you believe that? Of course I need a new phone. So anyway, that's pretty much all of that. But like I said earlier, I am unemployed, and not in a lazy way. It's actually a pretty cool way. Actually, before I say that, let me say this. Speaking of Tinder and everything earlier, it was funny because I got back to Pennsylvania, and in my Tinder bio right now, it just says retired because I'm not working, and I just think it's funny to say that. So it just says retired, and I got a couple matches from girls, and they would message me going, "Oh, so you're retired? Like, what's that like? What's your secret?" Kind of like joking. "Oh, what's your secret? You got to tell me how you got retired." So then I'll just kind of joke around, and then they're like, "Oh wait, but actually, are you what's up?" And I'm like, "No, I just moved back from Pennsylvania to Pennsylvania. I'm not working right now, so I just have it say retired." And then they unmatch me. I'm like, "Lady, I'm not unemployed because I'm a bum. I'm unemployed because I'm rich." So you're missing out on a gold mine here, sister. Look at all this crap I just bought. You think this cost me $10? No. I bought all this. And I still have money left over. And I'm rich. And you just let me fall out of your hand like a piece of sand in Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. You idiot. Just kidding. I didn't want to hang out with you anyway if you don't like guys with money. My point is, I'm not working. And just to give you guys some not closure, what's the word? Some reassurance, the only time my family and I ever take any trips is just Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I move back at the beginning of November, so I'm just like, if I can afford it, I'm just not going to get a job because I don't feel like getting a job and then being the asshole that's worked there for a week going, "Oh, boss, can I get Thanksgiving and Christmas off and the week thereafter?" So I just decided I just won't work, and I'll just get a job in January. So that's that, and I guess no girls on Tinder wanted to hear that. Perfectly reasonable explanation, by the way. And I'm rich. So that was annoying. But I did match with a girl recently, and we've gone on a couple dates, and not to give away any private details, I'll tell you this funny story real quick after I play a sound. Anyway, I was on a date with this girl, and near the end of it, we were getting along very well, and I had my arm around her. I had my arm around this girl because I'm a gentleman. And finally, the date was over, and she gets up and leaves, and I leave. We go our separate ways, and I'm driving home, and I realize my arm's asleep. Like, oh, geez, I didn't think that girl was that heavy or anything, but I guess my arm's asleep. Actually, side note, here's a free sketch idea for anyone who wants to do it. I always thought it'd be funny for a guy to be watching 127 hours with a girl on a date. Speaking of 127 hours, I went on a date with that girl in the freaking desert of Utah. That's where 127 hours happened. She could have killed me. I could have died. I could have had to cut off my arm. Anyway, I thought it'd be a funny idea to have a sketch where a guy and a girl are watching 127 hours, and she falls asleep with his arm around her, and then he can't get her off, and he can't wake her up, so he has to cut his arm off. So if someone has the means, go film that sketch. And you don't have to give me any money, but put me in the credits. And anyway, I was on a date with this girl, had my arm around her, driving home, and my arm's asleep, and I'm like, oh, geez, like I said, I didn't realize she was that heavy, but maybe I misunderstood or something like that. I didn't realize what was going on. Maybe I'm weak, but whatever, it'll be gone. and the drive was like a half hour back to my house. And by the time the drive was over, my hand was still asleep. I'm like, whatever. It's like 3 a.m. I'm just gonna go to bed. And I tried to brush my teeth, got a shower. It was fine, but it was still asleep. It was just weird. And the next morning, I woke up, and I kind of forgot about it. And then I go to brush my teeth, and my hand is like, I'm not trying to do a derogatory hand gesture. I don't want to be like Trump, like, hey, I can't remember. This is actually what my hand looked like. You know how hard it is to try to brush your teeth with a numb arm? You can't do it. It's impossible. And not just it's uncomfortable. It's like I can't even remember where my mouth is. Like, try to brush your teeth with your left hand. Like, you can't do it. It's all muscle memory. Like, you know exactly how to brush your teeth with your right hand or your dominant hand. Try to do it with the other one. That's what I had to do, except they were both my other one. And then I talked to my dad about it. I was like, how long do you think I should wait until I go to the doctor? He's like, a week. I'm like, a week? I can't feel my hand. I feel like if it lasts more than 14 minutes, I should go to the doctor. But I guess I'll wait a week. By now it's fine. It's back to normal though. But it did make me think, when do you get to declare whether or not an injury is temporary? You know, because if you say, oh, you permanently damaged your hand, it's like, well, how do you know that it won't come back? Like, I guess my point is I want people to feel more sorry for me. So if I say I can't use my hand and they go, oh, it'll be gone in a week, I'm like, yeah, but if it was broken for a lot longer than that, you'd feel worse for me. So pretend it's permanent. I don't know why you get to just choose whether or not it's temporary, because as of right now, it's broken. So who cares if it's going to get better in a couple days? That's my point. So yeah, I've fallen in love with a nice lady. And I fell in love with the girl in Utah, but I moved away. So that's a shame. We were only in love for like 3 days. Anyway, I built a website back in terms of the Harrison Brinker, whatever you want to call it, this universe, Hotel Charlie. Of course, don't forget we changed the name of Hotel Charlie. I might forget, but that's the name. I'm making a website. There's not really anything on it right now. It's more of just a hub for me, Harrison Brinker, and there will be a store on there eventually. It's got all the links. All the episodes of Hotel Charlie will be linked there. If it's easier than getting to YouTube, I don't know. I mean, it's just there. It's basically just something to have because it makes you look more official. So that's what I'm doing. But I think eventually I would like to sell posters and T-shirts. I have some funny T-shirt ideas. Of course, I have one with the Chick-fil-A cow on it holding a sign that says, "Eat more pussy." That's a Chick-fil-A joke, a sex joke, and like a Christian anti-gay on behalf of Chick-fil-A joke. It'd be funny to me for Chick-fil-A people to say, "You gotta eat more pussy." I don't care if you're gay, obviously. Poster-wise, I think this would be a fun poster. The one behind me, of course, I think would be a fun poster. That's a custom poster I made. Hotel Charlie, Hotel Charlie. This poster's not for sale. That's just a picture I took on my phone and hung up on the wall because there was a big blank spot there and I didn't know what to put. So I just put that because it's a good picture that I took. But yeah, so I'm working on a website. I was thinking about this recently. Speaking of like restaurants and did I talk about restaurants actually? I don't remember. Oh, Culver's and all that stuff. It's funny to me, like if you said, "Hey, what's your favorite burger?" and I said Culver's, you wouldn't go, "Really? Fast food?" How come the only food people do that with is pizza? Where they give you shit if you don't love pizza from a mom and pop shop. My favorite pizza is Papa John's pizza. But if someone said, "Hey, what kind of pizza do you like?" and I said Papa John's, "Oh, a chain. Oh, a chain? You like chain pizza? I like Montgomery's pizza down the road." Okay. First of all mom and pop pizzas taste the same. Let me say this first. I like mom and pop shops, small business pizzas. I like them. I'm not unfamiliar with them. I just think Papa John's is great. And maybe that's why it's a franchise with millions of stores because it's so good. I'm not alone in that. People love Papa John's. I do like small business pizzas, but they all taste exactly the same. The cheese tastes the same. I think they all just get the same flyer of how to make pizza, and they all do it, and they just make their own store. But it's just funny to me that the only restaurant people do that with is pizza restaurants, where if you tell them that you prefer a chain over a small business, they give you shit for it, which is just funny. If I said I like McDonald's fries, they're not going to be like, "You like McDonald's fries? You don't like Sweet Jane's fries? Sweet Jane's down the road, they make their fries from scratch. They steep them. They put them in water so the starch can get out." I'm like, yeah. I get how it works. McDonald's fries are good. So that occurred to me, and it bothered me. And that was all. That's just a tiny rant for you guys. But take these arguments and run with them, and then go next time your friend brings that up, you can say, wait a minute, I heard Harrison talk about this. Yeah, I never really thought about that, but how come people give you shit for ordering pizza from a chain restaurant? Like, that's a problem. It's also $9 for a large pizza. A Shaq-a-Roni on a Friday is $10? You getting that at a mom and pop shop? No. Is Shaquille O'Neal coming down to your house and giving you a pizza? Not if you don't order it from Papa John's. He's on the box. So that's that. I think, it's 50. We're going on 50 minutes here. I do want to kind of give you an ease back into the Hotel Charlie. Back into the show. I don't want you to feel like this one's dragging on, so I'll finish with this. I'm very annoyed at Shane Gillis right now. That's right. Everyone loves Shane Gillis. Hang on, I got to find the boo. Hang on. I'm very annoyed at Shane Gillis right now. I know. You're all going to hate me. Everyone loves Shane Gillis. And you're going, Harrison, what do you don't like his comedy? Yeah, it's fine. Stand-up isn't for everyone. I go, no. I like his comedy. I hate his fans. This is how I feel about the Yankees. This is how I feel about Kamala Harris. I hate the fans. I actually don't care about the Yankees. Everyone just says that. I'm like, okay, fine. I feel like that about Marvel. Marvel, do whatever you want. Everyone who watches it, please shut up. I can't stand listening to you talk. Oh, you're telling me you haven't watched every show ever made on Disney Plus? You're not up to date with Catherine Hahn's new show? No, I'm sorry. I was watching them until Avengers Endgame, and then I gave up like everybody else. Anyway, I'm sick of Shane Gillis's fans. You know why? Because they ruined Down syndrome for me. Everybody loves a kid with Down syndrome. That's great. That's fine. They're adorable. They're sweet. They're pure at heart. They are. And every once in a while, I'll be treated to a Down syndrome fella on Instagram Reels or TikTok or YouTube or Facebook or Twitter. And I go, oh, this is so cute. He shattered 2 bottles together in a swimming pool. That's hilarious. And then you go to the comments to see what people are saying, and without question, there's always comment after comment on a Down syndrome video of someone going, get this guy a grilled cheese. Hey, let me guess, Cousin Danny's making them at night, Uncle Danny? Guess what? Get this guy a grilled cheese. I mean, so Shane Gillis has this bit that he's got an uncle with Down syndrome, and he's not allowed to eat grilled cheese, so he sneaks off in the middle of the night, in the dead of night, and makes a bunch of grilled cheese at once, and that's why he's always got one on hand. Okay, that's a funny idea. But Shane Gillis's fans are so obsessed with raunchy comedy that they're just going, hey, there's our in, now we can make fun of guys with Down syndrome. Ha ha ha. And then they're commenting on these videos of like a guy with Down syndrome drawing a pony, being like, Down syndrome, let me guess, this guy watches Shane Gillis? Oh, you know where they invented Down syndrome? That's a Shane Gillis reference. It's like, no, man, you just wanted to make fun of a guy with Down syndrome. And now you have an in because the number one comedian as of right now in the world has a bit about it. So you're like, no, I'm not making fun of guys with Down syndrome. I actually love guys with Down syndrome. I just like making jokes about them. Really? Leave the guys with Down syndrome alone. You didn't make Down syndrome. Shane Gillis didn't make Down syndrome. People having Down syndrome is not a reference to a Shane Gillis bit. So all of his beautiful dogs need to leave guys with Down syndrome alone. That's how I feel. It's just annoying. But that's pretty much all I got here, I think. Let me look through my notes here. I mean, I did have notes, but I think I went through everything. Yep, voted. Yep, getting the mail. Yep, car. That's pretty much all, guys. I hope you've all... I know it's kind of weird because I used to always end the show with, like, Colin joining in. But that was last season, and this is now not only a new season, but a new show. The spirit, of course, of the Harrison Brinker Show is still here. It's me talking about my week, me talking about things that bother me. So that's not going anywhere. We just changed the name. Because at first, when I came up with that name, came up with the Harrison Brinker Show, wow, what a pull. Where'd you come up with that? I purposely named it that because I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make a show by myself, and if I call it the Harrison Brinker Show, I won't give myself an out. So that was the auspices of doing that. That was the motive of naming it that. But then after a season, I realized, oh, that's a stupid idea, and I'm going to change it while I still can change it. And this happens all the time. Walmart changed their logo. Sam's Club changed from Samuel's Club. BJ's changed from Blowjobs. So I feel like we can change the Harrison Brinker Show to Hotel Charlie because it's still early enough to do that. But of course, thank you everyone for sitting and listening. If you've made it to the end, I greatly appreciate it. Hopefully buying all this equipment was not in vain. And obviously it's early enough in the show's history, assuming we do this for a long, long time, which I'd love to do, that I understand there's only going to be a couple views here, a couple views there. But as time goes on, I hope we get some new people joining in. And maybe you're watching this video in 2027 trying to go back and listen to all the episodes. Well, hey, welcome. I usually don't ask for people to comment or like. That ain't my style. But I'll do it on this one only because so much has changed. If you've made it to the end, do me a favor. Do me a personal favor. I'll read them all. I'm not that famous. I've got nothing. I don't have a job. All I do is just go on the internet. So if you comment on the video, I'll see the comment. It'll mean a lot to me. Or be mean or whatever. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. But if something sparked your interest just in terms of the change, like if you like the change of the show, please let me know. If not, don't worry. Or do worry, because this is the show now. But if you do like it, it would mean a lot to me if you commented and said, hey, this was a good idea. I think that's all. And of course, if you haven't subscribed and you made it this far, then you should subscribe, because if you just sat and watched for an hour of a guy you don't know, then you liked the video. And it's free, and I don't post an absurd amount of times. I post once a week. The show comes out once a week. So yeah, that's me trying to come up with something to say, because I don't like asking for subscribers and likes and comments. But if you have nothing better to do, it would be nice. At least for this specific episode. I won't do this all the time. It's just for this one because so much has changed. I hope you all understand. But that's all. Like I said, there is a Patreon. That's only $1 as of right now. Like last season, it was different, where I would record the episodes 2 weeks in advance and they would come out a week early on the Patreon. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing that. I kind of like it gets rid of being able to talk about topical subjects. So I think I'm going to try to record these and then within days upload them. So I don't know what the Patreon will do, other than, if there's enough people on there paying enough of the membership or whatever, like I'll put your name in the videos and have credits saying like, thank you to the patrons who do this. But as of right now, there's nothing in particular over there that hasn't already been released since coming out, other than in the last season, there's full interviews. I used to cut the interviews down. I would sit and interview my friends for like 2 hours and only upload like a half an hour into the actual show. So the full interviews are over there. Those you can go buy for $1 a month. But like I said, the cheapest one's $1 a month, but I think if it's up to 5 or maybe 10, I can't remember, you'll get your name in the show, and I'll just be your friend. I mean, think about it this way. I don't want to try to pressure you, but if you go, hey, no one's on this guy's Patreon, this must suck. It's like, no, think about it this way. No one's on this guy's Patreon, so if I'm on his Patreon, I can be his best friend. And you will be my best friend. If you're paying to watch this show, I'm like, oh, I freaking love you, dude. So we'll become best friends, and you can just tell me what to say on the show, and anything. If you tell me to change any of this stuff, I'll just do whatever you say, because you're my boss now. You're paying me. So anyway, I'm just kidding. Well, not really, but I'm not actually going to pressure anyone to do that. I'm just letting you know that it's there. But I think that's all. Maybe I'll do stand-up again, and if I ever do, I'll let you know when I'm doing it. If you're in Pennsylvania, you can come out to an open mic and watch me do it. I have millions of more jokes just like that, and trust me, people might laugh this time. But that's all I got this time, guys. I'm very excited to be back. We had about a month and a half off. I was nervous that I had waited too long, but I think we got back into the groove. I mean, now this is just me talking about the old show last season, but last season we used to cut it into segments with commercials. I think I'm going to follow more of just an actual podcast. I'm just going to sit down and talk for an hour. And if you liked the segments, the benefit of the segments was just so that I could screw up and then re-record the segment. So it's not really any different than the show is now. So don't feel like I'm screwing you over if you like the segments. It's like, well, they're not coming back, but the benefit wasn't for the shows because I would always just screw up. But now I'm just done with that. I think I'm just going to try to sit down in one sitting and talk about my week and things that bother me. So thank you, of course, everyone, for joining. This has been the return of Hotel Charlie. Now, don't think just because I keep wanting to say the Harrison Brinker Show means I don't know the name of the show has changed. I know I made a joke about that earlier. It's because I don't know how to say thank you for returning when there's been a season break and now the name has changed. But from the next episode onward, I'll be able to just say thank you for returning for Hotel Charlie, blah, 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 without any hesitation. But this is now the show, Hotel Charlie. If you'd like a poster, let me know. Maybe I'll find one and mail it to you. And that's pretty much all, everyone. I really appreciate you coming by, and I think I'm going to go to bed. Bye. Oh, wait. Hang on. Let me try this again. I already screwed it up. I have my computer muted. Wait, let's try this again. Hang on. Here, I'll be back in 2 seconds. Wait, can you see this? Oh, I'm back. Let's try this. All right, everybody. It's meant a lot to me, and I'm going to go to bed. Bye, everybody. Can you believe I made it that whole episode without a mistake, and then I try to go to the intro and there's a mistake? Classic. All right, we'll see you all later. Bye.